All right. Following on from the hydrated block usage on the authentication screen, i.e. to remember who you are when you sign in. This simple little app at the moment, once you do sign in, you start receiving a stream of users, all these Star Wars people, to keep it anonymous. So it would be nice to get those hydrated as well. In other words, if I can demonstrate this, if I go over to the back end of the application and I restart the Flutter app, and it's going to literally be the same thing as shutting the app down and restarting it. It still knows who I am because of the hydrated blocks, so the user authentication is stashed somewhere inside the storage of the device, so it says, yeah, no problem, I can boot up. But the players, well, they're all gone because they're not stashed, they're just held in memory. So if I kick the server off again, that should connect the stream, yeah, and they come in. So it would be nice to be able to start the app in an area where there's no internet, and yeah, it would just remember the users. So how shall we go about doing that? Now, I think it should be quite easy. I just go on to the user block, which is really the user block, user list block. It's just maintaining a list of users, but it's definitely the block that we want to do. So I'm just going to go straight in there and change it to a hydrated block. Automatically then brought in the hydrated block Flutter file, but we're missing these concrete implementations, which is the code that tells it how to get it from and to JSON. So we need to implement those two guys. I think there might be a helper for that. Create two missing overrides. So that will create them, but they won't do anything. They'll just throw an error. So if we go back to our auth block and remind ourselves what we did. So let's start with the to state. In fact, let's just, instead of those overrides that we just had generated automatically, let's go in to here and we'll replace these things. So the first thing is, obviously we're not dealing with a auth state, we're using a user state. It's still going to be JSON, so it's still going to be a map of string dynamic known as JSON. The state type, within the user state, I think we define these things as a user list. So again, it should be, it might just be state type actually. I think that's, yeah, that's referring to the type of state. So I think it's users loaded on the user state. Yeah, user loaded. So we, whoa, where have we gone? Okay, user is loaded. Let's close some of these things down. Yeah, user is loaded. Let's have a tidy up. Users loaded. Then we want to return users loaded, and we might have to do something different here because this is a list of users. From JSON. Oop, a list of that. And user list. Yeah, so it's not like that. but we'll use the user initial in case it can't do it. Our users uploaded. Okay. Might have to go and look it up. User state. This is for the to.json. If the state is users loaded, and then return a state type of users loaded, and it will be user list. Well, that was all I was hoping it would be, but I think because one is a list of items, I've got to do some more work. Oh, I should better figure this out. We're either going to have to wrap it in something, or there's going to be a way of doing it. I wonder. I'm using hydrated block and want to store and retrieve a list. pb.user. Let's see what it says. The code you provided is part of a hydrated block implementation in Dart. It seems like there's a mistake. Yes. Okay, so where we got our from? If we define a user list JSON to be JSON user list, there's list dynamic. We can probably keep that as the right list. No? Maybe not. And then we define a user list is a user list JSON dot map user do I not have the PB defined up here? No, I don't. Okay. Users list. So users loaded is looking for a list of user. It's unhappy because it's getting an iterable. Should that be .toList? Yes. Well, we got no bugs anymore. That's a good thing. And the writing, the to JSON is, looks like it's the same. There. But we use state dot user list dot map, and then we use that, although we've still got an error. What are we actually doing here? So we're writing to, so we in our state is everything we need. So we're saying state, am I copying the right? State.userList.map, and you should get a user for each user. Okay, user dot to JSON. Now a user here is, I'm not sure exactly. Right to JSON. Okay, I don't think we've got any errors. We're all clean. So let's restart. I think that's all we need to do. We've added the hydrated block on the app. So the back end is running. So we should be signed in and we get no users. Guess that makes sense, because if there's nothing there, it will default when it's running the from into this one. But then surely, don't call me Shirley. It might just be not working. It's definitely not listening. Do we have any errors? Oh, we do. Hang on. Let's clear all those because they could have been happening for a while. Restart. Right. Ugh. Converting object to an encodable object failed. Okay. That must be somewhere in here. So we're using this method here that's been created by the protobuf write to JSON, which is just doing JSON encode. But we're doing that for each user. Maybe we're not doing that .toList again. Or we don't really want it to be toList, do we? Oh, well, maybe that was it. It looks like it's worked. It is a list. Right, okay. If I reload the app, it's working. Well, the test is, if I go over to the backend server, so that's now simulated that the internet is down and we can't connect. If I reload the app, well, we reloaded a state and our users are not coming back. Oh, I thought we might have fixed it then. Anything in the debugs? User. Yeah, not so good. Not so good. Map. So that is actually our JSON. I wonder if there's anything coming back. That we can see. Let's go over to. Oh, let's quit that. Split the screen. Put the logs over there. Restart the logs. So we do. We have state type. Oh, that's interesting. Have I left a typo in this somewhere? Auth user. Yeah, I did. User list. So that was saying auth user, which would have made sense. Although, still looks like it's empty. Let's rerun this. We've got our names back. And I'm guessing in Flutter, something might have happened. Ooh, so there's our names. I think this could be it. This could work now. Let's turn the internet off and restart the app. And hey, that's great. It works. So we aren't even connected now, and yet the app can survive. If I shut it off completely and rebuild it, sign straight in. Well, I haven't signed in. It just knows that I've got a user token, and my users are there. That's even cooler. Cool, and we learned something. Okay, I think that's a success. Definitely had to have a little look around in AI world. Yeah, but I think that's it makes sense. There might be a better way of doing it, but I mean, it's going to be okay for storing some data, but it's going to be passing all that JSON, which is going to be slow. I guess it depends on how much data you want for these things. Having something like SQLite installed locally is going to be the solution for lots of data, so we might investigate that one at some point. But yeah, okay, cool. End of video.